Hello, my name is Philippe, and I graduated in 2013 at New Vision High School. I was actually the first promotion to graduate from New Vision High School. At the moment, I work for an organization called Junior Achievement Africa. It's an international NGO that is, across different continents. In Africa, we work in 23 countries, and in here in Rwanda, I manage their programs. We work on entrepreneurship, work readiness, and financial literacy for young people in high schools and universities. I think I got the inspiration from when I was in university. So I went to the University of Rwanda, and one of the things that I actively participated in was a club. So I joined an organization called ISEC. They had a club at the university where I was going, and it was into community empowerment. What I loved about it is it gave me an escape away from just studies. So we would go into the communities, we help students source internship, build their skills. And so growing up in that field across my college years enabled me to see what it means to work in the youth space, because it's not just something that you just do, but you're able to see impact. And that's what shaped my love for working in this space, because not only do you see impact, but even I as a young person, it always reminded me or showed me what it meant that if I got somebody to help me the same way. So I was like, let me also extend the same support to other people so that they can be able to benefit, just like few people got to support me in my own career as well. Yeah, so I think number one thing that connects all of them, it's the impact. It's the young people. It's giving an opportunity to a young person to thrive and become themselves. So when you look at, like I mentioned with ISEC, it was about providing internship and capacity building for young people. When you look at the room, my major role was actually not only connecting young people from Rwanda to job opportunities, but in Rwanda, but also across the continent as well. When you look at ALU, that was almost the same thing that I was doing in a different capacity now, because now I was working in a university institution. So it connects back to the love to empower young people, but also, again, connecting to the fact that some of these things are things that I wish I had as well. Some of the things I got, but I'm like, let me also, extend the same supporting arm that I received, but also even provide what I never managed to receive. So I think it's that whole passion to provide opportunities for young people to actually become a better version of themselves. Yes. Yes, so we currently, like I mentioned, the organization works with young people in high schools and universities. But as the program manager right now, we are launching here in the country. So we started with high school kids. So the program that I'm currently running, that we have rolled out, is an entrepreneurship program where we go to high school, senior secondary school students. So we're talking about senior 4 and senior 5 students. And we bring in we give them that platform to practice what it means to be an entrepreneur. So we have a program where students get into groups, they create actual business ideas, they create prototypes of those business ideas, they run those business ideas while they're still in school. The aim of the program in the long run is to ensure that when a student graduates from high school and they have a passion for entrepreneurship, they would have already gone through what it means to actually be an entrepreneur. And for me, one thing that I also love is it's not just about creating a business, it's also about creating a business that has an impact in the community. So when we are helping these young people to actually come up with these business ideas, we ensure that they're looking at the community, what challenges do exist, and how can you create solutions that then transform into actual business ideas. So the impact so far is good. So I've been in this role for 1 year now. I'm actually turning 1 year into this organization next year. I was actually the first person to be recruited in that organization. So for me, first of all, it's the ability or the opportunity that my bosses have given me to run this program, introduce this program. So there's a lot of stakeholder management, selecting these schools and bringing this particular program here. But I think for me, the most important thing is that every year we have a competition, right? And in this competition, we bring all these schools together, they compete, and we award the best 3, but the best school gets to represent Rwanda in the regional competition. So we have a competition coming in this November, and we have seen the adoption in schools. A lot of young people have submitted amazing business opportunities. So this December, we're going to take our first team in the regional competition in Nigeria. And for me, I am really looking forward to that. But I think the impact that we have seen so far is the schools, but also the stakeholders that are telling us this is an amazing thing. We have MOUs with the Ministry of Youth. We have MOUs with Rwanda TVET board because we're working in technical secondary schools as well. And so when you look at all these stakeholders and some of these parents calling us and telling us, I love what my kid is doing with your organization, already that's the impact. But I would say 1 year, 2 years, once we have already run like 2 competitions and these guys have graduated and they have started to actually do these businesses when they are out of high schools. I think that's when we're going to see more and more impact. But so far so good when you look at even government agencies signing partnerships with you and believing in the idea. So far I would say those are the impacts that we have. Yeah. Yeah, so I would say, especially working with young people, you require different people to come together. I would say, you can have an idea to work with young people, but if you don't have, let's say, the government buy-in, and what the government buy-in does is that they have information, right? You can come up with a brilliant business idea, but you probably don't know what's exactly happening on the ground. So I would say, starting with the government, it has given us real information in terms of what are the challenges that young people are really facing on the ground, and also connecting us to then people and places where these young people are for us to already work with them. So I think the government collaboration has been one of the most rewarding, and it's not just that, they also create frameworks that allow you to actually work with these people. We are currently now in the process of rolling out collaborations among youth centers through the Ministry of Youth. And with that, we're able to get a lot of young people in one space. So it kind of, reduces our energy to go looking for where are these young people, because now we can easily find them in one space. So I think the government, it's the policies that make it work, but also the support and giving us real-time information. With the schools, it's also very important because, again, we work with schools. And if they don't give you access to the students at school, then again, there's so little that you can actually do. So with schools, it's giving us the opportunity to meet the students, but we have also seen schools even providing time for these young people to actually work on these businesses. Because as you already know, even when I was in high school, you're starting from 9 up to 5. So there's little time to actually do other things, but we have seen schools actually dedicating some time for them to actually work on these businesses. We have seen school head teachers also, giving us support, encouraging us, and even some schools calling us that we had not approached, and like, we want this in our school. So I think, I believe that was also has also been very helpful. So when you look at working with a large demographic of people like young people, you need a whole multi-sectoral approach and different people to combine efforts. And I feel like that's when you're able to actually get the benefits that you're actually looking for. And so we appreciate all these people that come together to enable us to actually do the impacts that we want to achieve. Yes. Yes, I think based on my recollection, the biggest challenges, which I can also relate when I was in school, there is a way education, it's one of the biggest challenges that we have, where, when we're in high schools, probably we got into fields because our parents advised us to be in there. So when you reach university, you start to realize that probably that's not what you really want for your life. So some of the challenges that we encountered with university students are that I am studying this thing, but I don't feel like that's what I want to do for the rest of my lives. So one of the things that we used to do is coaching to really help them navigate, and connect to what they're studying and where they really want to be. So I would say, in terms of their career, I would say that one was one of the biggest challenges. Like, how do I identify what I really want to do for the rest of my life? That's one. And then number two is also the disconnect, where, as you find that a student is brilliant in class, they're getting straight A's in whatever they're studying. But when you go into the world of work, it's different. It's not just about the books. It's about the other soft skills, like how to speak with people, how to, clarify your idea when you're speaking to people, how to present yourself, the soft skills aspect as well. And so I feel like a lot of us, when we were still in school, we just thought, education is it. But then there's also a whole world out there that where you need to figure out how do you connect what you're learning to actually what's happening in the actual world. And so for me, I would say those were some of the biggest challenges. But again, there is also the aspect of how do you ensure that young people do not wait to finish their degree for them to actually start understanding what's happening out there. Like, how do you make their education practical from the first year of education? But with the institution that I was working with, which is the African Leadership University, their whole model was actually different, because you literally learn by doing. Every year there's internships that you have to do, and they're part of your coursework that you actually submit. So you tend to realize that by the time a student graduates, they have not just studied, but they have had a chance to work with real companies across the 4 years. So I think that's also another challenge. Like, how do you ensure that people are learning as they are actually practicing what they're learning? So I would say those are some of the three biggest challenges that I encountered from young people in my work. So yeah, I think based on my experience working with young people, one of the things that young people need to thrive in today's world is how do you translate what you're learning in school into what's happening on the ground. Now, the world is changing a lot these days. There's technology, there's especially AI, and there's consistent different challenges that come up. So I feel like as a young person, if I was to even take myself back into high school days, now that I've learned what I know, it's like I am studying this particular course, but how will this help me and the world around me once I graduate? I think that's one of the things that young people need to think about, but they also need to understand the power of collaboration. You can't do these things alone. You need to understand that the people around you are going to be your asset in the future. So how do you leverage that network even while you're still in school? And then I think another part that is also equally important is now we have technology. We literally can browse and Google anything just on our smartphone. So my advice again to young people would be just ensure that you're keeping up to what's happening globally. Let's use the ChatGPT, let's use the Googles, but trying to understand what is really happening around and how can I bring the knowledge that I'm getting to actually contribute to what's happening around us. I think those are the three things that I would find the most important. Yes. Yeah, so I think New Vision High School, I was there for 5 years, so it was an interesting time. Majority of the people that I work with even up to now are people that I actually met at school or friends of people that I met in school. So I would say the network that I got from there was really important. The discipline. We like to brag sometimes these days that we feel like they were too harsh on us even while we were still in school, but you realize that what they taught us was discipline, which we are now using. So now that we look back, we realize, actually what they were doing for us is something that shaped who we are now. And with the emphasis on education, the skills and the knowledge that we have now is we're building onto what we learned back in high school as well. So I believe a New Vision, I learned discipline. I learned a great ton of things in school that are helping me now, but also the support system. I believe our promotion, we were very young and few, so we got all the support from the schools. It's not just about education, but we also had a chance to actually come up with things. I don't know if you guys are aware, but the New Insight magazine, that is something that we came up with, and the school supported us. Now I hear it's still going on there. The school hymn book, that's also another project that we created and the school supported us. So I think it was very supportive, and we are very thankful for what New Vision did for us, because now that we look back, we realize that we would have been different people if it wasn't for all those things that I just mentioned. So I think it's ensuring that in the academic approaches that they have, how do they embed practical experience? How do they ensure that the young people from New Vision are able to start even with the surrounding community and make impacts? It could be through the student clubs that are already there. It could be in different ways, but how do you ensure that young people are not just learning, but they're making impacts, they're creating ideas, they're figuring out practical ways to actually make impact while they're still in school. I think that's the biggest gift that they can give to the students, because to be honest, the world out here does not just require people who got straight A's. They require people who are doers. So how do they ensure that New Vision students are actually learning by doing? I think that's the biggest thing that they could do for the students, and giving them that exposure. Bring people who are actually already doing things out there to come and speak to them, to mentor them, to guide them through the process, and also take them out on the field, not just for field trips, but is it also possible to have kind of like practical experiences like internships in the process as well? I think for me, that's what will make the difference, because the education side of things, I know that is already done, but then translating the theory into practice is where the notches. And extracurricular activities are equally important. Let the kids, be able to also have time to do these other things, because you tend to realize that as a child, you don't really know what you really want to be, but if you involve yourself in all these things, then you start to find your grounding, and you never know, maybe your calling is to be a football player, and if I have a chance to play football in school, then I can eventually navigate and create my own career. So I believe those are the things that New Vision will do to actually make more impact, like they did for us, because some of these things that I'm saying are actually things that happened for us during our time. Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.